This is a sequel to another video about the difference between criminal cases and civil cases, and it will discuss contempt of court and how it works. A criminal case requires two things. The case is filed by the police, by a prosecutor, or by a grand jury, and the main possibility is for somebody to be punished with jail, prison, or a fine. But contempt of court is different. Contempt of court is a concept arising from the inherent power of judges to put a person in jail for intentionally violating a court order or for showing disrespect to the court. The best example of that is when parents are jailed for not paying child support, but it could apply to many different situations. For example, refusal to obey a child custody order, refusal to obey a restraining order, refusal to obey an injunction, which should be the subject of a different video, and refusal to obey the rules of the courtroom, including refusal to show the court respect. Let's start with refusal to follow the rules of the courtroom and refusal to show the court respect because it's one of the most entertaining. There have been a few movies and TV shows showing lawyers being sent to jail for misbehaving in a courtroom. One movie was My Cousin Vinny. Another was Liar, Liar. Inherit the Wind is a play that has been made into a movie about 4 times. It's great because it's based on a true story and it has great characters and intelligent dialogue. It centers on the trial of a school teacher accused of teaching evolution in a public school. In one of the scenes, the teacher's defense lawyer becomes angry with the judge because the judge will not allow some witnesses to testify. The lawyer was doing his job by calling the witnesses to testify, and the judge was right to refuse them. But that's another issue. The lawyer loses his temper and says the judge makes him want to quit and withdraw from the case. And then the lawyer begins to give a speech on the dangers of ignorance and religious fanaticism. The judge says, "I hope counsel does not mean to imply that this court is bigoted." The lawyer replies angrily, "Well, Your Honor has the right to hope." I'm not sure what the lawyer meant by that, but the judge replies, "I have the right to do more than that." At that point, I believe the judge is thinking of the judge's right to put the lawyer in jail for contempt. And then the lawyer yells, "You have the power to do more than that," which could be a reference to the judge's power to allow the witnesses to testify, the reason the lawyer was mad to begin with. The judge says, "And I exercise that power," but doesn't let the witnesses testify. He does 4 things. 1, sets a hearing for the next morning. 2, gives the lawyer notice that the hearing is to determine whether or not the lawyer is in contempt of court. 3, orders the lawyer to spend the night in jail or post a bond for his release. And 4, sets the amount of the bond at $4,000. The lawyer does not spend the night in jail because somebody pays the bond money. And the lawyer comes to court the next morning and apologizes to the judge. And the judge lets it go. Due process is a concept you will need to learn for this class. There is a procedural due process and a substantive due process. And it will be the subject of another video. At this time, simply notice that the lawyer in Inherit the Wind was given notice of the accusation against him, that he was accused of contempt of court, and the lawyer was given a chance to explain or defend himself. That's the minimum of procedural due process, which we'll discuss in another video. So let's talk about child support, because that's the most common situation for contempt of court. A child support order must be very specific about the amount of money that should be paid, when it should be paid, and how it should be paid. When a parent fails to pay child support, the other parent can file a motion for contempt. The motion will ask the judge to force the parent who was supposed to pay to come to court, and the motion will ask the judge to put the parent who was supposed to pay into jail. When the parent who was supposed to pay comes to court, the parent can try to explain why he or she did not pay. For example, maybe the parent lost their job and lost their car and doesn't have the money to pay. Once again, the person accused has been given notice of the accusation and has been given a chance to explain or defend themselves. That's procedural due process. For failure to pay child support, inability to pay is a defense. That means the parent who failed to pay must prove that they did not have the money in order to avoid jail. In my experience, child support judges do not want to put people in jail. Instead, the judges want the money paid. The judges will be open-minded to claims that a parent could not pay and will often give the parent a second chance to find a job or find the money. But the judges will also be suspicious if a person has paid nothing, not even $1, in several months. The judges will not like hearing that a parent paid a gym membership or paid a cable bill or paid another bill that was not absolutely necessary instead of paying child support. The judge will ask the parent a lot of questions about their income and their expenses and will be very specific about whether or not they have a car insurance, a phone, internet access, a girlfriend or boyfriend, or even minute details about a parent's life, such as whether or not they smoke cigarettes. The judge might ask, why was paying whatever more important than your children? For every month that a parent intentionally fails to pay the full amount of child support, they can be sent to jail for 180 days. Because contempt of court can be punished by jail, it is sometimes called criminal contempt. So to sum up contempt of court, it is an accusation that a person has intentionally violated a court order or shown disrespect to the court. It can be punished by jail time, and so it is sometimes called criminal contempt. But contempt of court does not have to be filed by a prosecutor, by the police, or by a grand jury, so it is not a truly criminal proceeding.